Beautiful. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, so beautiful. That was such a deep movie today. I know you were left with just a deep stillness after the movie of the surrender at the end of the movie. It was profound.
Yeah. Yeah, really profound. It was like that awareness of just being so filled with the thoughts of God in our mind, like watching her go through that transformation and into such clarity in her mind and such clarity of purpose, you know, from being in the chaos of this world and the self-concept, and then she just got more and more clear. She needed more context to end the day. She needed more context, more context, more context about her purpose. Like, truly, what is her purpose? And then you could see her at a point as she was like receiving it and learning it and going into it as an experience. And then finally, towards the end, she was just like, she's right there. She's so present, just saying exactly what she needs to say, being exactly where she needed to be. And it's involuntary. You could feel this involuntary nature of the spirit using her, even though the script was written and it was all playing out. It was still, there was this involuntary love coming through her in answer to the call for love, for the whole. And yeah, there was this line that really stood out to me where she said, how is it possible that so much can change, meaning inwardly, and yet nothing is changed externally? Like, that's what she was starting to see. Oh my God, like everything's changing. Everything is changing. And she was talking about her mind, her realization, her awareness of her purpose. And yet it didn't seem like much was changing in terms of the script, or anything was changing at all, really, in terms of the world, but everything was changed. So, yeah, that just felt so deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything goes very, very still. Because it's like, in the end, our only lesson is one of absolute, complete acceptance. And what that means is we don't reject anything or anyone. And what that means is we just accept it's all our mind. And therefore we're not looking to the externals to change at all. We can really accept things exactly as they are. It's like what Byron Katie calls loving what is. You can really fully embrace what is when you don't have any judgments that something or someone should be different. And that is so deep. And so what I think happens is when there's the human awareness, which is an awareness of linear time, of past, present, and future, then the human is in a sleeping mode in which time seems to be real, and the past is looked upon as important knowledge to help plan a better future. And Jesus is saying, actually, your past and your future are the same. They are defenses against the present moment. Most of us are aware of psychology. There's psychological defenses like suppression, repression, projection, denial. But Jesus is taking one more step, and he's saying, whenever you plan the future based on the past, you are defending against a present change of mind. And so this is why we always talk about guidance and being 100% intuitive. If you just stay with your heart, if you just stay with your intuition, and you tell yourself, my intuition has all the answers. I already have all the answers that I need. I do not need externals to give me the answers to what is already in my heart. you can feel the peace and the relaxation come over you, because then there's no sense of external dependency. You get everything from an inner confirmation. And that was what happened at the end of the movie. She woke up for the first time, you were saying, in bed. She was so clear and calm, and she had no anxiety about the day.
No.
Because she just had certainty in her heart, like, I know what this day is for.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for something good.
Something good. Her mother said, focus on only the good. Yeah. And there's a part in the Course in Miracles, I noticed it very recently, where Jesus was saying the ego can see some good, but God sees only good. Oh, that's the distinction. So where the ego will try to say, oh, there's a miracle there. Oh, there's a miracle there. There's a miracle, like you can grab onto a few scraps. But the ego is saying, you're stuck, and you got a few goodies, a few scraps to get you through the day. And God sees only good, all things working together for good. And that's why that was beautiful advice from the mother. Just focus on the good. Honey, you have a beautiful heart. You have a beautiful heart, a very open, loving heart. Just focus on the good. And she was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then everything comes from there. Everything comes from there, because you know who you are, so you know what to do. Because what you do comes from what you think. And when you're thinking with God, then what you do comes from what you think. And then you're doing with God, and that is guidance. And it's so simple. It's really so simple. It's all coming from within. And it's us tapping into, this present state. It's present. It's like the present is before time was. And it's continuous. The only place where we find the consistency and the continuity is in the present, which is a state. It's who we are. It has nothing to do with time, really nothing to do with time. So we're feeling, as we go into the Q&A and we go into questions and we go into, we just really wanted to share this context at the beginning, to set this context of the solution. Because really, when we're aware of the solution, it gives us a whole different approach when it comes to asking a question. Because really, a question is another way of saying I have a problem. If I have a question, it's a problem. Because if you had a solution, the solution, there wouldn't be a question. There wouldn't be any problem to solve. So we're going to start with this context of we have the solution. We have the solution. And then, we bring every question, every problem to the solution.
It's very humbling. I remember back in the 1990s, I was working with a small group of students in Michigan, and I said, well, let's just meet every day. And they said, what's going to be the topic? I said, well, the topic will be the same every day. The topic is dissolving the questions. If you think you know something and you have questions, then you don't know something. Because if you know something, you have no questions. It's just you are in what is real and what is true. So I said, let's just call it uncovering the I know mind. So since every session was dissolving the questions, I would just meet with the students and I would just say, I'd look around and I said, who thinks they know something? And then some would say, well, I know parenting, and I know about education, and I know about science, and I know about finance. I know about multiple things. And so I would say, well, let's just go into it real deeply and let's see if you really know, or if you just have a collection of past learning and opinions that you call knowing. and we're going to dissolve the opinions. I said, wouldn't it be fun to leave the session with no opinions about anything, no opinions about politics, no opinions about relationships, no opinions about finances and the workings of the world, to be 100% clueless and carefree and happy. That is the goal, not to tell what you think you know, because there's always struggles. And that's really what we want to get into today. There's a part in the beginning of the workbook of A Course in Miracles where Jesus says, your understanding is not necessary. He says, the ego is insulted at its lack of contribution to the truth. The ego is insulted. So to me, that's coming together with such a heart-to-heart passion and connection, to feel the love, to feel the connection. If that's our number one priority, and we're willing to let everything else fall away so the love can emerge, then that is when we get into holiness. We get into that deep love of God that is always present, ever present. And when we have a lot of written in questions, we really appreciate that, because we have some questions too that Frank wrote in, Casey wrote in, Tatiana wrote in, and we've been on the phone with Maya today, had some wonderful discussions with Maya as well. And so we're open to exploring and going into these things, but we really enjoy the live encounters. So if you have something burning on your heart and you really want to dive into it deep, because no one can, like the Matrix, the Oracle told Neo, no one can tell you the truth. You have to know it for yourself. You know, and truth is an internal matter. It's in your heart already, and you're simply tapping into it and uncovering it and discovering it. And what a joyful adventure. So I see we have some digital hands going up already. Our moderators can jump in.
Yeah, we see Kelly immediately put her hand up, so that's beautiful. I think Kelly wants to ask a question. You can unmute.
Boa noite.
Good night.
Quando eu assisto esses tipos de filme que abordam a temporalidade,
When I watch these movies that speak about timelessness,
eu fico sem entender o filme, porque eu acho que eu fico querendo entender os fatos, né?
I stay without get the idea of the movie, because I want to understand the facts, and
E isso dificulta o entendimento do filme. Sim, vocês entenderam assim?
it's hard to understand the history of the movie, of the movie. You get it, my question?
A minha mente fica confusa.
My mind stay confused.
Yeah, we could just say that is part of the human condition, is the desire to understand the world. The desire to understand the world includes the body and everything that surrounds the body. And Jesus is teaching us very quickly in the mind training of the workbook that he says your understanding is not required. And in fact, he goes so far to say is you will not understand anything at all about this world, or anything at all, period, until you understand who I am. In other words, all understanding is in spirit, because spirit is real. And this world was made as a veil of images to cover over the spirit. Many spiritualities talk about like the awakening process like an onion. You have to peel all the layers off of the onion to get to the core of the onion. And you might say the core is like our true identity. And everything else we have learned on top of what is real and true. And we have to unlearn everything that we've learned to remember the truth of who we are. So we've all been programmed by the ego to learn new things, learn through education, learn through our adventures in the world, learn about people, places, things, learn about history. Like you said, that there's a desire to know the history. To most human beings, the most important question is, what's the background? When you meet somebody, you want to know a bit about their background. A doctor wants to know the facts from testing the body before he makes his diagnosis. A psychiatrist wants to hear all about, okay, tell me about your father and your mother. Tell me about your life growing up, your history. Before they will make a diagnosis, the psychiatrist wants to know the whole history. And what Jesus is saying is this world is backwards and upside down, that you cannot approach God the way you would try to approach problem solving in the world. In fact, it's going to be the exact opposite as you would approach solving a problem in the world. So when Jesus gives A Course in Miracles, people hold on to the book and they go, good, a book. Now I can study it, I can read it, and I can understand it. That's what they think the text is for, so they understand it. And then after I understand it, that's why there's 31 chapters, then I can apply it. And Jesus starts right off in the workbook saying, no, it's not how it works. You have to admit that you understand nothing. And you can tell with his early lessons that he really means that. Nothing I see means anything. Lesson number 3, I do not know what anything is for. That's the third lesson in the book. I do not know what anything is for. I remember I was doing the workbook lessons with a friend many years ago in the early 1990s, and she was going through the early lessons with me, and she was twiddling her thumbs, and she was not really happy with any of the lessons. And then after we got through like 12 or 13 lessons, she said, is this the best Jesus can do? She said, I hope it gets better. And every lesson we would do before we would start, she would say, I hope it gets better. I hope Jesus has something good today because he's not delivering on his lessons. But these are lessons in undoing. And we associate learning with collecting things, with building on concepts and building more and more concepts. When you go into study to be a doctor, you better understand a lot of other things before you even begin to try to go into orthopedics or, to go into some specialty in any profession. You have to have a lot of previous learning. You cannot go into calculus unless you have trigonometry. You cannot go into trigonometry unless you understand all your basics of multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. All of mathematics is built like every single area of study. It's built on layers and layers of learning. And then you come to Jesus and he says, now you have to unlearn it all. You have to unlearn everything that you've learned to understand this course. And he says you have to question every value that you hold, and you can't hide one. You can't hide that. So I would say A Course in Miracles is not so much a course in learning as it really is unlearning. And the more you unlearn, the closer you come to the meaning of forgiveness, which is a state of non-judgment. And so it's perfect that you're raising this, Kelly, because it's like we all have taken on all of these ego habits, where I'll just call them bad habits. But we think they're good. We actually think they're good habits when they're not. They're not helpful at all. And so the whole journey is very humbling. Like in the movie today, it was a humbling journey for Samantha. She just was, every day she was dismantled a little bit more.
Yeah. When I first started reading the Course, I'd had a head injury with brain damage. And so when I tried to read and remember the lesson, I would forget. I would read like one paragraph, I'd start to read the next paragraph, and then I would have forgotten what I read. And I was worried. So I said to Jesus, oh no, I can't learn this course. I can't remember it, because all that I knew about learning was to remember it for later. Because I need to learn it. I need to remember. I need to understand what I've read and then build on it. And he said to me, no, that's perfect. That is perfect. You don't need to remember what you read. It's just for you to feel the connection with me. I want you to receive the connection with me at this moment. That is what you are reading for. Only that. So anytime you see your mind going, I need to understand, I need to learn the history, I should get it, I should understand, you can let that go. You can trust. You don't need to. You don't need to understand it at all.
Yeah, there was a Course in Miracles group in Colombia that was hosted by a woman who owned a horse farm. And so about 15 or 20 ladies would come out to the horse farm, and they would study the course. They would go around and read the book and study it and talk about it. And then one day, the lady thought, well, I do have one man who helps out with the horses, and he's lived on the horse farm his whole life. And she said, he's the happiest man I have ever met. He is so joyful. And David, I'm writing to you to ask if I should invite him into our Course in Miracles group with the ladies to study the course. And I said, well, what do you feel? And she said, well, half of the ladies feel that he should come in, and it would be great to have somebody that's that happy to be part of the group. But the other half said, no, you'll ruin him. He is happy already. Why would you torture him by having him be part of a Course in Miracles group when he's lived on the farm his whole life? That's all he knows. He's never been to a city, and he's completely joyful and happy.
Giving thanks to God every day.
Yes.
Every day.
Giving thanks to God every day. And I have to laugh, because these are the kind of questions that I get. So half the group was saying, leave him alone. Don't disturb the happiness.
Book away from him.
keep the book away from him. And the other ones are saying, oh, we think he should come in. But we start to realize that, like Jesus says, words are symbols of symbols twice removed from reality. So words are just tools that the Holy Spirit can use, but they're very crude tools. Once we start to get into telepathy, once we start to get into unified mind, let thine eye be single, the need for words, he says this in the workbook, our use for words is almost over now. But the words are like the first steps on the ladder as you're going to kind of climb up in awareness. The words are at the bottom of the ladder. And when we tie understanding in with the words, we don't understand that the understanding is at the top of the ladder. And we're just using the crude tools of the words to take our baby steps to help train our mind. And the ego invented the words, but the Holy Spirit can use anything that the ego invented. So A Course in Miracles is a good example of the Holy Spirit's use of words. It's an entirely consistent thought system. He says, some will reach heaven through this course. He says, even at the point of death, some will rise up and say, I have no need for this, and will rise to teach the light, to teach the light, to be the light. In one instant, they will rise up into, you will believe this course entirely or not at all, he says. So it's not cumulative. You don't become a good student and a good teacher through accumulation of past knowledge. You come into being a teacher of love and light by accepting your being, by accepting the being that you are in this moment. And you see how different that is from trying to put the Course in Miracles on the timeline. And then the ego jumps in, and then it's trying to, where am I on the stages of development of trust? Where am I on my spiritual journey? And Jesus is like, that's a pointless question, because who you are is beyond the timeline. It's not, cannot be found on the timeline. So I'm glad you're bringing this up, because it just shows how much humbleness we have to take a deep dive, really deep dive into the pool. We have to be very humble and not try to tell the Spirit how we think it should go, because our contribution as an ego is not is no. There is no contribution. Zilch. Zero.
He says, just be with me. That's all. Just be with me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, well, we've got a couple more hands up, and if anyone else wants to raise your hand, feel free. And again, just remember, please get right to the point. We have such a precious time here with David and Kirsten. And so, yeah, I think we can go to the next hand. I see it's from from our Living Miracles Monastery. It looks like Samantha there. Hi, Samantha. And someone maybe just needs, there we go. Okay, go ahead, Samantha.
Well, I'm having an absolute nightmare in my mind right now. I've literally snowballed into like hell. Like the rug's been pulled. And I just feel like I'm just drowning. It's like there's so much, I can't seem to accept the truth of what you share and what we're learning in general. It's like it's not true, because I don't feel that way. Instead, it's just, I'm just consistently met with how wrong I'm being, how everything's just going wrong. The self-attack, the blame. I just feel to blame with everything. The attack in my mind, for even in the expression sessions, for the things that I've shared and how I've shared it, like I'm not being mindful. I don't feel connected to myself. I don't feel connected to anyone. I feel like I'm just hated and just hating myself. And I don't know how to like change my mind and see differently. It's like the rug's just been pulled, and I'm literally just like, I don't know the way out.
Yeah. Your name is the same name as the main character in the movie. And after the first time that she experienced the crash, the tumbling crash, she was in a state of confusion, in her bed in the morning, in a state of fear, what day is it? It's Saturday. She didn't know what day it was. She didn't understand why she was in the bed. She couldn't put what happened with the memory of the tumbling vehicle swerving off the road with anything that she'd ever experienced on the timeline. It didn't fit in with her worldview. She was more, what is happening? Am I dead? Am I alive? Why am I still in the bed? Oh, here comes my little sister. Oh my gosh, she's saying the same thing. Mom says it's time to get up. And she's just got this look of like, oh my gosh, I'm totally disoriented. I'm discombobulated. I don't have a reference point. And that is actually, it seems terrible, but it's actually just a step along the way that when you say it feels like the rug's been pulled out, I can identify with that. Kirsten can identify with that. We have come to that point. It's more than the branching of the road. It feels like the rug has been pulled. And there can be fear there, but then the Spirit is saying, no, this is a necessary opening in your mind. It's a necessary letting go that will make way for an ascent into the experience of truth. I remember the first time I was reading the Course, and I read the words in the Course, all of the roadways of this world lead to death. And I was just like, I had to stop and, what, did I just read that right? All of the roadways of this world lead to death. And then he went on to say, men have died upon seeing this. I mean, just upon that one recognition that all the roadways of the world lead to death, men have died upon seeing this. But if they had just taken one more step, they could have been lifted into heights of happiness. Oh my gosh, rug gets pulled, feel like I'm going to die, and then lifted up like a beam of light into heights of happiness. That's something that we weren't raised with. I mean, I had never read anything like that in a book before in my life. And this is pretty late in the Course. I think it's the real alternative section. And basically I was like, okay, now it's getting down to like some kind of surrender point. Because I would say that this point is so essential, because if we're going to develop trust, and like where you are at the monastery, there's a beautiful Jesus picture right outside the kitchen. Trust settles every problem now. Sometimes I just would sit and look at that sign and just meditate on those words with Jesus' hands stretched out. Trust settles every problem now. And what Kirsten and I felt to do tonight too was to share some of the parables, because when we first came together, Kirsten had 2 head injuries, and you almost have to get, in one sense, reach a point where you feel like dismantling, or that you're falling apart, kind of like the scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, where the flying monkeys pull all the straw out from the scarecrow and scatter it all over the road. That's kind of a symbol along the journey, whereas the temptation when that's happening is to judge. I'm failing. I'm not mindful. I'm not living up to my potential. I'm falling short. There could be a lot of self-criticism and self-attack that is tied into that. And Jesus is saying, I'm here to carry you. I'm here to lift you beyond that. But this is the falling apart that happens as we begin to answer the call. It's not what we expected. We expected angels singing, or some heavenly fragrance coming into the room, or some light coming to swoop us up and everything. We have visions of how that would be, but it actually starts out with this point, and just like in the movie, she basically had to open her heart up and really come to a place of openness and acceptance of a change of mind before she could really move forward.
Yeah, and just to know you're in good company, Sam. Like you're with those who really get it, and if you join with any of the residents here and there at the monastery even, and say, okay, in the last 48, 30, 48, 60 hours, have you experienced going through some intensity? Like it's normal. It's normal. I mean, you're going through a much bigger wave of it right now because it's really what you came for. Like you started opening up to it and at home in England, and then you were like, whoa, but you came even knowing you were going through a dismantling. That was a huge leap of faith to come over, going through an unwinding and a dismantling. And I just was there with you with that expression where you just cried and cried and cried, and you were just like allowing all this emotion of like, whoa, I just don't know who I am. And it felt like, oh, welcome. Yeah, you're here. You're here. It takes so much to come to that point of just being raw and being completely open. And that's trust. That's a sign of trust, that you're there and you're opening to the support that's going to keep coming to you through your brothers, through the purpose that's holding you there. That's what the place is for. And it's like so much self-judgment would come up. I just remember, in the early years just being, with you, David, and it was just, especially being with someone who's so consistently happy, like all the time. Imagine being in your state on the road, traveling on a road trip, going through this at different times with someone who's consistently happy. So then I had all this like pressure of like, oh my God, I need to be happy. I need to get it together. We're going to meet people. There's going to be a gathering. I need to hold a gathering. I need to try to do something. And yeah, I think the greatest gift that would happen would be when I would reach this point. I remember we were driving in the car, we're on the road, we're going to a place, we're going to meet some hosts, there's going to be a gathering that night. And I would start to say, David, I can't do it. I don't think I can do it. I can't show up for a gathering and be in front of people. And he would say, oh, you don't have to. Oh, you don't need to. That's fine. I can do the gathering. And I'd be like, oh, okay, good. There's no pressure. I don't need to try to be something. I can just trust. I can go through this. I can just allow the healing. And, every time, by the time we got to the gathering, I would be like, I think I can show up. And then somehow, through the grace of God, it would be my turn to speak. Like David would speak. I would be feeling like I don't have anything to contribute. I don't really have anything to give. They've invited him, really, not me. But then he would say, oh, Kirsten's going through some dismantling. She can share something about that. He'd pass the microphone to me and I would speak, and I would find myself speaking about what I was going through, and I would be shown by the responses of the people at the gathering that exactly what I had to share was exactly what they were going through. And they would be saying, oh, thank you, thank you. So I kept being shown over and over again that what I was going through was not wrong. The healing I was going through, and the guilt and the belief in failure, and facing all the ego judgments, and then the judgment of the judgment in my mind. The ego saying, you're judging, you shouldn't be doing that, judging the judgment. it's like this attack thoughts in my mind. But as I just kept being willing to go from one moment to the next, that's all I needed to do. Just be willing to trust and continue to the next moment. Trust that I'm here because I prayed to wake up or go home, whatever that initial prayer was. I want to stay with God. And this is the answer to the prayer, the healing that I'm going through. Because it's one or the other. Either the whole thing is completely wrong, which is what the ego would say, or nothing's going wrong. And I'm going through the awakening and I am right on track. And that's where our brothers and sisters keep witnessing to us. No, it's okay. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we do seem to go through the darkness to the light, and it's a big temptation when that's occurring to conclude something. But I remember moving through things years ago, and Jesus was just saying one thing: just don't conclude anything from this. The ego wants you to conclude you're unworthy. The ego wants you to conclude you're not making it. The ego wants you to compare and conclude, and really our life in this world, when we wear these personality masks, we're really like walking question marks. There's one beautiful, bright, shiny Christ that's just glowing and beaming always, and then there's all these question marks walking around the earth, greeting each other. Who are you? and we try to answer the question with something from time, and it's unfulfilling. It's not satisfying. Doesn't give us that. But when we're authentic and when we're really going through it and we hang in with the faith, then we can feel deep down that we're going to get pulled through this, that this is what we're just deepening in our faith. And we don't have to conclude anything about how things appear to be going. And many times over the years, I think it relates to Kelly's first question, where we have a baseline where we think we know something, and yet what we think we know is really just a judgment of ourselves and the world. And we don't really know anything. We don't. And I picked up a part of the course from lesson 135 today, because planning is one of the things we think we know how to do. We really believe we can plan for our own best interests and plan for our personality selves. But he says a healed mind is relieved of the belief that it must plan, although it cannot know the outcome which is best, the means by which it is achieved, nor how to recognize the problem that the plan is made to solve. It's like we start to realize that when we don't know, when we're clueless, our mind is actually open to guidance when we don't think we already know. But when we think we already know, our mind is closed to guidance, and we just start to pile on ego judgments. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is where I'm at fault. This is where I'll never make it. It's very dark, that voice that is chattering in our mind. So you're having a lot of faith to carry on in the face of that inner voice, that self-criticism, self-critical talk of the ego. And we have that movie Violet, where she has to go through so much in the movie of all of her dark thoughts and dark critical talk.
Yeah. And there's this other line from the course that is just a lifesaver, Sam. If you can take this line: you cannot tell your advances from your retreats. You cannot tell what is an advancement and what is a retreat. Like sometimes Jesus says, what you think are your greatest advances, no, actually it's pride taking hold. I know something now, I'm getting somewhere. And what you think are your greatest retreats, where actually you're facing the deeper healing that you need to go through to go to the light of who you truly are and be even more aware of who you truly are on the other side of this layer. It's just a layer. That's all it is. So that would save me. Yeah. And that, like, you don't conclude anything. Do not conclude anything. Don't make a decision while you're upset. Do not make a decision while you're at peace. Do not draw a conclusion about this because you don't know. The only knowing there is happiness. Like when you're happy and you're peaceful, you're aware of what is true. And when you're not, then it's safe to say, I don't know, so I can't conclude. And then when he says that, yeah, you don't know. You can't tell the difference between your advances from your retreats. Like, oh, thank you for telling me that. Love you, Sam. So glad that you're there. Thank you. And we expect miracles. We have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. Or tonight, or in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Love you so much. Oh, we're really holding hands, all of us. You're not alone. Thank you. Well, we have Sandrine has her hand up, so we could go to Sandrine. That feels good.
Yes.
Hi, Sandrine. You can unmute.
Hi, Sandrine.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Alors, David, je t'écoutais tout à l'heure quand tu as introduit le film, où tu expliquais que c'était...
So, David, I was listening to you earlier when you were introducing the movie and you were explaining.
Voilà, que c'était un film, je l'ai en anglais maintenant, loop, des boucles. Voilà, des boucles qui se répètent et que nous vivons tous dans nos vies.
And that it was a movie about looping in time. And in fact, we all seem to be experiencing that looping in our life.
Voilà, en prenant l'exemple de quelqu'un qui peut se marier plusieurs fois, évidemment, avec des personnes différentes. La forme change, mais au fond, on retombe toujours sur la même idée.
Giving the example that, for example, someone can marry 4 times and different people, but always experience being with an alcoholic, and therefore it's just being in touch with the same idea.
Alors, pour toutes les vies que nous sommes amenés à vivre, il en est de même. Ce sont des vies différentes, des personnages différents, et nous revenons pour avancer dans notre pardon, je pourrais dire.
And so you're saying then the same seems to be happening from a reincarnation perspective. We seem to live life after life, and then there's different characters, and everything is being used for us to wake up.
Et à ce moment-là, j'ai eu un souvenir de quelque chose que j'ai vécu quand j'étais enfant, 9-10 ans peut-être.
And then in that moment, I had this memory that came of something I experienced when I was maybe 9 or 10 years old.
Comme beaucoup de personnes à qui c'est arrivé, j'ai vécu une expérience de déjà-vu.
So, like many people, I had a strong déjà vu experience.
Et c'était vraiment très clair dans mon esprit. Je m'en souviens encore aujourd'hui. J'étais devant la porte du garage avec mon vélo et j'avais la conscience d'avoir déjà vécu ce moment.
And it was so clear. And actually, it's still clear today. I still have that feeling so clearly. I was in front of the garage of my house and I was looking at my bicycle, and it was so clear I already lived this moment.
D'ailleurs, je suis restée interloquée, je suis restée là peut-être pendant quelques minutes complètement, oui, interloquée, j'ai pas d'autre mot, à me demander ce qui se passait parce que c'était une évidence que je revivais quelque chose que j'avais déjà vécu.
So I was totally stunned, like perplexed in that moment. And I stayed like that for several minutes because it was really something that was very clear, but I wasn't really sure what was happening.
Et du coup, ma question, c'est, mais est-ce qu'il est possible de revivre alors exactement la même vie, même dans la forme?
And so my question is it then possible to relive, to live once again the exact same life in the form?
Well, what we perceive in the form is already over. That we learn from lesson 158. We are mentally reviewing what has already gone by. And so the belief that we're dealing with in the mind is, number one, the belief that life is of the body, which is an invention, that God did not create the body. And so we are trying to give life where there is no life. We're trying to give life, which is eternal, into the form. And it's like we make a puppet. It's like we generate. Imagine if you had a very long paper towel. Out of a paper towel roll, you had a very long paper towel. And then you folded that paper towel over and over into many segments. So you folded it up, and then you got your scissors out, and you cut out a body from the folded paper towel. And then from that thing that you got, you went like this, and you saw you had hundreds of bodies strung out on a timeline from one cut in the mind of an invention of a body, and then put on a timeline so that it seems to be playing out over time. So what we can say is the past repeats, and we are simply reliving the unholy instant, the time of terror, the belief in separation from God. And everything that we perceive with the five senses is a repetition of this one scary moment, but it's projected out as if it's happening over time. And we have a belief that there are causes and effects that are part of that timeline. When you and I just discussed that in our last interview, that cause and effect are actually together, and there is no gap between cause and effect. We're always experiencing our consciousness in this moment. And if we have false beliefs, we're experiencing it as a world. It's like unpacking itself as a world. So the most important thing to begin to learn is that life is not of the body. Who I am cannot be located. But we have to approach this from a place of being convinced by the Holy Spirit. Like we talked about how, there was a time before where before you got into the course, you were struggling with survival. And then when you started to get into the course as your calling, life's calling and purpose, then the miracles, the synchronicities, things started to happen to convince you that you weren't stuck, that you weren't limited, that you weren't lacking. And then you got to a point where you had a bunch of students. But then when the students all fell away, then there was another point of deeper faith, deeper trust, because then the role of the teacher starts to get questioned. What is a teacher if there's no students? The ego is like trying to make you feel bad and guilty about that, but then you're just, Jesus says, oh no, this is perfect. Come higher with me. You know, you are beyond being a teacher. You are beyond having students. You are more than that. And then the faith and the trust just keeps growing as you are in your heart. You're praying, show me what real life is. Show me a life that never ends. Show me a life that has no beginning and no end. And then lots of miracles come. That's Kirsten and I were talking about all the parables, you know, so many parables. We've had car parables, animal parables, clothing parables, house parables, travel parables. We could write a whole volume on each one of those topics, just pet parables. There's a lot of them. There's been a lot of animals that have come in there that are part of that. There was even a time, I think, where Kirsten thought she wanted a child. She wanted to have a child, and then it turned, I think, into an animal, and then
a little puppy showed up.
It turned into a puppy. Because Jesus was trying to teach, no, you just want love and affection. You think you want a baby, but then a puppy showed up, and then it was an instrument, wasn't it? Like a flute or a flute.
Mm-hmm.
So Jesus used the puppy and a flute.
And then students.
And then students to say, you know, you're going in the right direction, but you don't know what you're after here. You know, so we have, that shows you how much trust it takes. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you, Sandrine. Okay, well, yeah, we I know you guys are aware we received a Levels of Mind submission from Frank, who's also from France, and I thought we could read like the gist of what Frank was raising in a question form, and you could address that if that feels good.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Frank.
Hi, Frank. Okay, so Frank wrote, I don't fully trust that the Holy Spirit will take care of me. From this lack of trust, I keep going to a job I don't want to go to because I believe I need it for financial security. With this, I feel disconnected from God and guilty for not following my heart. And this guilt turns into a fear that God will punish me. How can I let go of the belief that money and work are what keeps me safe and truly trust that the Holy Spirit will provide for all my needs and lead me to a true sense of freedom?
That's a very beautiful, deep question.
Well, I just want to say, and Frank, you're in Europe, you stayed up like all night last night to join, and then you went to work all day. We saw a beautiful message of gratitude that you sent in, and then here you are again staying up, you know, really late to join, and it just feels like, yeah, your commitment and your devotion to healing is going to carry you. It's going to carry you into the experience that answers your prayer.
Yeah. We're used to so many concepts and so many categories that I remember reading this little book by Khalil Gibran, the prophet, and he has to take on all these different topics, you know, children and all kinds of topics, but one of them is work. And he starts it off by saying, when you work with love. And for the mind that's asleep and dreaming, work and love don't have the same meaning. It seems like those are opposites or two different things. And here's Khalil Gibran saying, when you work with love. And many times people have said, the best work you can give is when you're inspired, when you're really in the spirit. Whatever's coming through you when you're in the spirit is kind of like working with love, being done through. But Kirsten and I were talking about what you wrote in because we were recalling the last 20-some years of all these parables we've had where we're pretty clueless. We didn't really know what was coming next, and we didn't really have any foresight on things. We didn't really have a lot of plans. It was very much of a moment by moment, day by day thing. And it's like Jesus is teaching in lesson 135. He's basically saying you really need to trust, and you really can't use your past learning to take you where this faith will carry you. Like where we're going is we're going toward the light, and it's the faith that takes us to the light. It's not our body's actions. It's not, we're not trying to reach God through doings, through the work. And yet we have believed in a belief system that says work is necessary for survival of the body, and therefore it's necessary for the safety and the security of the body. And what Jesus is teaching us in lesson 135 in the workbook is he's saying, yeah, all of your struggles and stress are coming from your mind's identification with the body, that you think it's you. It's just an image that can be used by the Holy Spirit as a communication device. And as it's used as a communication device, your mind will feel more freed up and more expansive in awareness because you're letting the Spirit use it for its given purpose. And over these last 20-some years, Kirsten and I have worked with a lot of people who either were working at jobs that they didn't feel fulfilled with. Sometimes we work with people that were owners of companies. And you would think, that sounds like an easier unwind. If I owned the company, I could unwind from it pretty quickly. Not really so. The ones we met were so in denial about that ownership and so afraid of money. And it was one case where Kirsten had to go up and even let me see your checkbook because, oh my gosh, you're not balancing your checkbook. No, I can't stand to look at the checkbook. It doesn't even matter if you're owner of a company. If you're in denial, you will try to push away the looking at what needs to be looked at, which is the fear in the mind. So that's how you begin to release the mind from the fear. Jesus says the more you look at it, the less you see of it. The more you look at unconscious fear with the Holy Spirit, the less you see of it because it dissolves and disappears as you look at it with the Holy Spirit and see its nothingness. But instead of having like an Eckhart Tolle park bench experience, he says most are given a slowly evolving curriculum because they would be too frightened if too much light came too quickly. It would be more traumatic than beatific. It would be very horrifying because the mind is so into the belief in scarcity and lack that it couldn't handle it. And we see that oftentimes where you see people who win the lottery and their life goes worse than ever because they can't even handle the money. They are not psychologically prepared to handle that. It's so opposite of their belief system and their self-concept that they end up doing crazy things, and the money and the fame and everything that comes with it kind of drags them down into feeling worse than before they won the money. So I think for us, it's been very much of praying together and praying every day to be shown, and learning to have patience and wait for what we're really feeling, what is given, to not try to jump ahead and solve it in the form, and then hope that the mind will follow, when it's actually the mind is where it needs the correction and not the form. And it can feel at first like, wow, you're asking for a lot of faith for me to let go of my worries and concerns about the form. But we've experienced so many times, that so many experiences with a whole range of things in form, that it seems like things got taken care of without our personal effort. And we've had a lot of them, some of them got put in the book. You might be able to share, because we were going to share that a couple times too, that Kirsten put it in a book.
Have you read this, Frank?
I Married a Mystic.
It's a very good book. It's a story. It was when I met David, in the first 3 years of going through the healing and opening my mind to looking within and developing trust and deepening in this connection and relationship with the Holy Spirit, to be able to hear guidance, and get more and more clear of the difference between when is the Spirit's voice in my mind, when is it the Holy Spirit. And it has so many parables in there of deepening in this purpose, and just miracles happening, and being convinced through the miracles that the Spirit is in charge, that I'm not in charge, but the Spirit is in charge. So it's really, and it's been translated into lots of languages. So it's in French as well. So but there's just so many experiences of being convinced. I remember when I first came over to the Peace House, when I'd first met David and came over, and it was in the first 3 to 6 months of being there. And I was just starting to be of service and feed the cats and join in with this ministry and serving God. And what I'd known from working before in my work life, I actually enjoyed it. I worked with children as a teacher, but there were aspects of it, of course, that I didn't like, which was that it was within a system. It was working with these goals that I would set for myself that were impossible, of really fixing the world and educating the world and developing the great curriculum that would be successful, that every child could learn, etc. But I had these goals for myself that were not achievable, and I didn't realize that underneath these goals that I was setting for myself, even for my work, they were coming from these deeper beliefs, in my mind that I didn't even know that I had. So as I kind of moved through shifting from working for the purpose of earning money, or working for the purpose of educating children, working for all of these other purposes, which didn't involve the Spirit and didn't involve like real freedom of mind. I could be intuitive to a point, but there was always this feeling of a glass ceiling, or I would get burnt out at some point. No. And so as I started to work for the Spirit, I started to learn there was a very different feeling, a very different experience of serving the Spirit in my mind versus having another purpose or another goal of something outside of myself, including the future or other people. This purpose that I was starting to serve was a present purpose of my relationship with the Spirit. And in this purpose, I could start to feel this gratitude. This gratitude would just come welling up within inside me, like, oh my God, thank you for what I'm doing. Thank you for this opportunity to serve. And it didn't really matter what I was doing. It could be something so simple, like feeding the cats. You know, David was counseling for hours. I'm like, oh, he needs a drink. Or like, oh, it's coming up to dinner time. It was simple things, you know. But each of those things that I was doing, I was feeling nurtured by them because of the purpose that they were for. It was a transformation in my mind purely through the purpose. So that was the beginning of it. And then I was getting more and more into counseling. The phone would ring and David would say, you can answer that. I'd be like, really? I can answer the ministry phone? How will I know what to say? But I realized that with my prayer to serve and be available, the Spirit was then bringing me more ways that I could serve and that He could heal my mind through my work. So here I was answering the phone, and then the person on the other end of the phone was asking a question that happened to be exactly what I was going through, you know, in my own healing. I got to teach what I would learn. Again, I would feel so nourished by the purpose. And then I got so full on into communication function, serving, everything that we were doing. And then some needs came in. I had, there was a hot tub there at the Peace House, and I had a bikini top, but my bikini bottoms, some little shorts, needed replacing. And I had this preference around my bikini shorts. They needed to be, you know, shorts, not skimpy little bikini bottoms. I had in my mind exactly what I wanted. But I thought, I don't want to go shopping. I don't have time. I don't feel like going shopping. And then we had this friend, Pam, who lived nearby in our little area. And she came over sometimes for some talks, came over to watch a movie with us. She was, of course, a Miracles student. And she emailed, she said, Kirsten, are you free tonight? Can I come over and visit? And I said, sure. She came over. She walks in the door with these bikini shorts with a price tag still on them. She said, I was out clothing shopping today and I bought these. They're not my size. And I just, are they for you? I couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it. It was like, oh my God, that's a miracle. I was praying for those. They were my size. They matched my top. And it was such a beautiful symbol for her. She was like, I must have been guided by the Holy Spirit too, because here I am in the miracle with you. It was just one of those examples of, you know, you start saying, yes, I want to be available. I don't even know how I can be truly helpful. I want to work for you. And then we also get shown what is guided is provided. If you work for me, I will take care of you. That is a promise that's been around for 2,000 years. Put your faith in the kingdom of heaven, put the kingdom of heaven first, and all else will be added. It's very practical. It's very, very practical. We do our inner work. We do our inner healing. That's going towards heaven. All of this being willing to look on the healing that we need to go through. And then our prayer, use me, I'm available. And then to really trust, that as we do that, we will keep being provided for because it's His plan. would God have a plan for you that he wouldn't support? He's like, yeah, I have a plan for you. And then he sits back and says, yeah, good luck with that. No, it doesn't work like that. He says, I have a plan for you and I'm going to be with you every step of the way, supporting you, providing the means.
Yeah, when we think of God, we don't always associate God initially with the provider. We think working jobs, earning money, saving money, spending money. Our thoughts are so caught up in our little personality self that the stress grows very quickly, and the sadness grows very quickly, and the frustration grows very quickly. And then once we start to open up what's good for the whole universe, what I always think of, Mahatma Gandhi, he was he had a higher frequency of what's good. He was more thinking what's good for all of India. It wasn't just one person. It was for millions and millions of people. And then that's what seemed to unfold. And I remember when I was traveling a lot, I would have funny synchronicities happening. Like I got an email from a man in Belgium who said, David, I am the only Course in Miracles student in Belgium. And then the next day, I got an email from a woman in Belgium, and she said, I am the only Course in Miracles student in Belgium. So I said, oh, I think these two. So I wrote to them both. I said, why don't you both meet for coffee and introduce yourselves, because you both wrote to me as the only students of A Course in Miracles in all the country of Belgium. So they did. They met, and then a third woman joined them, and they got all excited and happy. So they wrote me an email back, all three of them. They said, thank you, Spirit, for bringing us together. We found each other now. We had a beautiful coffee together. We only have one question for you, David. Must we share you with everyone in Belgium, or can we keep you to ourselves? that was the question. And I said, share. You have to share me with everyone in Belgium. Well, they ended up having a gathering at a farm, and people from 7 countries came. They came from Germany, from Holland. They came from all over Europe to this farm, and we had this huge international outdoor gathering. But it started with 2 people writing, saying that they were the only person of A Course in Miracles student in Belgium. And currently we have a friend who's living in Latvia. He's a businessman, and he was saying, come to Latvia, come to Latvia. I'll do whatever it takes. Please come to Latvia. And he's spent somewhere between 5 and 7 years having A Course in Miracles translated into Latvian, so he can publish. His goal is to publish A Course in Miracles for his country, for his entire country. And it was going very slow, and so we told him, well, maybe it's better if you just publish a few of our smaller publications and distribute them in Latvia, and then the people can get to know us a little bit, because he's been waiting years to get this A Course in Miracles published. And so he just wrote to me a few days ago saying, I have translated 3 of your publications into Latvian. Can I have permission to publish them? So it's just, this is where you get into a calling. You get into a calling that is so big. It's for the whole universe. And amazingly, as you say yes to it, then things start to happen. Time and space get orchestrated by Jesus and the Holy Spirit to make it happen. And you find so much joy in it, because it's just, you're offering the gift of your heart. But we'd have to pull off the blinders of this little personality self it's all me and myself and my struggles and how will I survive. We have to break out of that mentality and get into the broader mentality of, okay, Jesus, what would you have me do for the blessing for the whole universe? And that's the feeling that we've had in our hearts. It's a huge feeling. And then when we go with that huge feeling, amazing things show up, but not a feeling of us personally efforting to make it happen. It's just like beholding it, watching it naturally show up. And there's so many parables. We were counting. It's 20 some years of parables, and there's so many. But it's been a convincing. We were really praying to learn to deepen our faith and to be shown the way, so we would have a deeper trust in the Spirit, and then being convinced by the experiences as they came. Instead of having an angel show up or a bright light in the corner of the room, it's been little specks of miracles over the years that grew stronger and stronger, and the evidence, you might say, the convincing became stronger and easier. And that's really what when we read your question, that's what we really wanted to convey to you. Just take one step at a time, and yet take each step with faith in your heart, and trust that God will show you everything you need to expand.
Yeah. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank. We found out that we actually do not have a French translation of "I Married a Mystic" at the moment, unfortunately.
But we do have a Spanish and Portuguese and English, and we'll put a link in the chat. And they're all available for free on our store. So the ebooks.
Maybe you can use Google Translate on your phone to take pictures of every page and translate it to whatever language.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
I did read it on YouTube in English, so even if the subtitles can come up in some magical way through AI.
Oh yeah. Maybe we'll post the link. I'll try to find that. Yeah, you did a whole YouTube series.
Yeah. Perfect.
Great. Well, we could go to another raised hand if that feels good.
Yeah, I see.
Annalie. Go ahead, Annalie.
Hi, everyone. Calling in from Sweden. So I have been in one live encounter with David and Francis many years ago. And I don't know if...
Oh, you're muted now.
Just muted a bit there. There we go.
Hey, hi. My heart is pounding, and I hadn't formed a question clear in my mind, but there were so many things coming up. And this was the meeting in Sweden. I showed up late. I followed. It was kind of a miracle that I could show up, because it was already full. And I came with my little daughter and my dog. And I got so scared because of this no private thoughts and no people pleasing. And so David was talking about, he had an likeness what you can do with a knife, that you can you can do some beautiful cooking, or you can really hurt someone. And I was so judgmental. Like, I was looking at all the people there that had been studying a course in miracles since the 70s. And I was like, because people were a bit annoyed that I had the child crawling around the floor. And, it was a good learning experience for everyone. I understand that now, but I felt so odd and off. And also I had the experience of having a psychosis in 2006 where I killed someone with a knife, and I just couldn't say it. And that was someone I loved deeply, and I had just, had some years, like, I don't know how to say it, but now I know that everything happens for a reason, and that I was shown just like the reality of this world, like the ego and because I was trying to take on everything I saw in the world, all the pain and the ugliness, and I wanted so bad to save the world, and in the psychosis, like I could still observe myself, but I couldn't reach, because it was something like hacked into my mind and controlled my emotions and everything, how it played out. But the healing journey has been really, really beautiful. And I have had that confirmation from like the healthcare, that they've started believing that you can get that sick and get well, because that was like such a clear decision that came to my mind, that I'm going to get well and I'm going to do it so fast. So I got so much guidance, and this was before A Course in Miracles. I got guidance from Jesus, because I couldn't change the circumstances. I had to change my mind. Like if I was annoyed with someone because I was locked in and I couldn't change the people there, so I had to focus on what I liked and appreciated with them. And so many miracles happened. Like people got removed from there, and like stuff happened, and like the doctors have thanked me afterwards. But still, this is I need to come clean with this, because the ego is still playing out that part and wants me to feel so much guilt and projections. And because that I couldn't come clean and be like share those thoughts at that meeting, like this past years has been also like I've been living a lot with suicidal thoughts, and my daughter has grown up, and now I know it's good, but it has come up that now it's coming, like when I feel like I'm back, like then it comes from her, and now it's like I have to just trust, and trust that, innocence in everyone, and it's such a release, and I keep on doing it, and stuff happens, but it's also even if we say that the world is not changing, it changed so fast, because my mind goes from those two like seeming like the ego and the spirit, and it's such a big difference. Like for me, when I get into that, it's like yeah, I'm starting to be able to say no faster, to see that it's a trick, it's a trickster. And the spirit has also helped me to see that, because I've been searching everywhere, like I've been doing so many things parallel within different things, and he's been like putting them all on top of each other. And I also like had the experience this spring where we were like maybe 100 people riding snowboard on the mountain together, like a flock of birds.
Mm.
And the theme for the event was because it was a 30-year-old anniversary for my brother. He made the highest air once in snowboard, and there were people from all over the world that came there, and it was so amazing because there was such a learning experience and it was so gentle. And even my daughter was there and she was stuck in her room, didn't want to go out, hating me and like all that. I just went out and I just let it go and I started trust, and people came with those nudges, like because I tend to be a little bit ahead of the timing, and then people would just show me like not now, like, and remind me to listen. And I don't know really what my question is here, but I just wanted to share that. And oh yeah, my question is also, I've been trying to get into this like connection with this course in Mirko's family, because I thought, yeah, a mighty companion would be nice, but I haven't been able to write. I've been starting writing and I've been thinking to write to David and to do all that, but I haven't been able to. But then and I listen a lot on YouTube to different teachers, and then they have started to come to me in telepathy, like guiding, and like, yeah, but you just do that now, and like, and it goes really fast because it's like that connection. So I nothing has been wrong. Like it's just a different way, and yeah, I just want to join because I think that this was the way. Maybe I can ask, how can I have a mighty companion? I don't know, because I realized that even if I want to be there where I do telepathy, I have to have also some respect for the human experience, because I don't want to be in that pain, in that feeling of lack or incapability of not like reaching out, even in form. I think it's important for right now.
Yeah, thank you, Annalie. We have many resources that people, it's almost like they can flood themselves with opportunities for this deep connection. And I'm thinking of, we have this Movie Watcher's Guide to Enlightenment. I'm thinking a couple movies. One is I'm Tim. It's about the story of Avicii, an amazing Swedish young man, and with commentary. I go through it and all kinds of commentary on how the spirit reaches everyone through music. And he was so tuned in for his brief life. Also, I had a friend years ago who was an amazing Swedish filmmaker named Kai Pollak. And Kai Pollak did this movie, As It Is in Heaven. And I've shown that movie all over the world. And I met with Kai, and he told me all these miracles that he had, meeting his wife at like 1 o'clock in the morning at a place that was closing down, and he telepathically was guided to go there with like a 12:55, and he meets his wife, who helps him write this movie, As It Is in Heaven, along with a sister. And so I think there's so many ways to connect right now. We have a big music ministry going on. There's so many ways that you can connect as part of joining with Mighty Companions in a very deep mind connection, and then just trust that out of all that, the very thing that would be most helpful to you is support, just as a stable support to you to hold on to the truth and to not be taken away by the ego into distractions. I just think we can hold it in our prayers that you're flooded with lots of symbols and signs and support, so that you feel like you're not on your own in any kind of a personal way, but you have a symphony, a whole symphony of support and that you found us and you're on with us now. I'm sure it's in the wee hours of the morning in Sweden for sure, like we have with our friends in France and England and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Annalie. Lovely to connect, and thank you for being so transparent. It's like you did it. You were afraid before, once upon, like in the past, and now you've done it. I feel like you've just come forth and you've said to the spirit, I'm here. I want to be transparent. I'm not afraid anymore. I don't want to keep anything hidden in my mind. I want to join. I want to be open. I want to trust. I want to know you. Just, yeah, through everything that you shared, that's what I can hear was the message of your heart coming through.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Annalie. So beautiful. Yeah. Well, David and Kirsten, we still have a few written in questions, and we know Casey, she did the levels of mind, but she's not in the room right now, so maybe we could go to Tatiana's question, actually, if that feels good to you.
Yeah. This could be the last one then, perhaps.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
before the dance party.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can read Tati's question. Hi, Tati. Tati writes, when we talk about asking, what is this for? Or what is the motivation behind my decision? It isn't always easy to know whether I'm acting from the ego or from the Holy Spirit. For example, recently I wondered whether I should share an experience I had with someone. I realized that the ego's motivation could be competition. The Holy Spirit's motivation would be complete transparency, a movement towards joining rather than separation. And my question is not how to tell the difference between the motivations of the ego and the Holy Spirit, but rather how to know what my true purpose is in a given situation. Because sometimes it feels confusing. Just a little while ago, I was writing down the motivations of the ego, the mask, and the Holy Spirit. And I think that brought me some clarity. Lately, I've also been learning to follow the feeling in my heart more, but I need to stay deeply connected. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw your question and we were going into the question of really discernment, of discernment between the ego and the Holy Spirit, because that is how we come to the clarity of purpose.
Have we got Teddy there?
She is translating right now, so.
Oh, she's translating.
Oh, okay.
She's translating and receiving simultaneously.
Put her on dynamic gallery, so there she is. Found you in the gallery.
Yeah. So I think it's, when we talk about motivations, everything that we do is a discernment in coming clearer and clearer to the purpose of the Holy Spirit. Because when we look at our world and our life from a personal perspective, we can see that there's personal ideas of gain, of, like you mentioned, of competition. It can be of betterment of the body or the personality. And the Holy Spirit is always opening up to a vast experience of communication that eventually turns into an experience of communion with Source, communion with the Creator. So I think that the most helpful thing is it's good that you started to journal. And sometimes when you take teachings from the Course and you put it at the top or the theme of a journal page, then you can start to look at the motivations. But so many of our motivations, all based on the past, have been coming from the ego, that we are constantly rediscovering and deepening in our experience with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and the movie today was such a good example of that, of really seeing Sam or Samantha go through this journey from the ego's purpose for her relationships with her girlfriends, for her, all of her relationships. It was so clearly the ego's purposes: pride, pleasure, and attack. And the pride was in the beasties. There's so much pride, amongst those in that. Like, we're the beasties, the comparison of them with others, the exclusivity of their group, and just the pride of being a self. And you could see all the shakiness underneath that all the time. Like, yes, I'm going to lose my virginity, but actually I'm afraid. There's a lot of fear and shakiness under the prideful purpose that the ego has for the body. It's actually terrifying. No, it's not, there's nothing certain about pride in terms of knowing who you are. And then pleasure, no, they were just into a lot of the way they were playing it in the movie was around their looks. They had a lot of pleasure in how they looked, and drinking, and pleasure of being something, showing up at the parties, being seen, being known. And then attack, like, it really got clear that there was a lot of attack thoughts and judgments that were in their minds. That's the ego's other purpose the ego has for the body, is using it for attack. And that got more and more overt with Juliet, attack thoughts, judgments, and then eventually even throwing drinks on her, and
with the besties, even when she was in her goth day, she decided to open up in the car and do an expression session of everything that she didn't like and all the words that were spoken behind each other's backs, until it just got to the point where Lindsay said, "Get out, get out of the car," and her high heels.
Yeah. So it's very overt in the movie, the shift of purpose, from the ego's purpose for it all to the Holy Spirit's purpose, that you could see at the end where she was coming so fully into being a miracle worker. And she was there only to answer the call for love and to let the voice for God speak through her, and to maximize every opportunity to communicate, like really communicate fully. So it really is the same. Like, in your question was you were saying it's not about the motivations of the ego and the Holy Spirit, but how to know my true purpose in a given situation. Well, I would say it is the same in a way. Like, when you know the Holy Spirit, the motivation of the Spirit, then you know your true purpose in any situation. They come together because your purpose comes from the Spirit. It's really who you are as the Spirit. That's your purpose. In this world, it seems like your function and your purpose is to do with behavior. It seems like your purpose is what you're going to do out there. But that's not the definition of purpose when we talk about purpose. Our purpose is forgiveness. Our purpose is healing our mind. And then from that purpose of healing the mind, of forgiveness, which is in every moment. And when you're aware of the Holy Spirit in your mind, you're aware of your purpose. It's there. You're practicing forgiveness, or you are in the forgiven mind. And when you're in the mind of forgiveness, when you're in the forgiven mind, then that's when your mind is very still. It just looks and judges not. like that state of mind, that state of forgiveness in the mind, it can look upon anything of this world. Quote from the Course, it can look upon devastation even. And all that state of mind can say is, it's false. It's false. That's how forgiveness looks. That's how forgiveness sees. So either I'm in this state of mind that's looking on as the false is false, seeing that all of the images are part of a dream, that something seems to be going terribly wrong or something seems to be going amazingly right. But the forgiven mind can look upon it from a place of peace and stillness, not react to either. So that's where it's really clear when I'm aware of the difference between the ego and the spirit. Then I'm either in the ego or I'm in the spirit. And when I'm in the spirit or aware of the spirit, then my purpose is clear. I'm in need of forgiveness or I'm extending the forgiven mind.
Yeah, so if you really pray to know purpose, really a good synonym is perspective. When you're praying for purpose, you're praying for perspective. And I think out of all the definitions from Jesus of forgiveness, there's just one that just stands out like a blazing light. He says, forgiveness is quiet and silently does nothing. Mm-hmm. It looks and waits and watches and judges not. That's the most concise experience of perspective. And that helps us loosen from the form of thinking I have to forgive of this form or that form. Because oftentimes we think of the grievance as taking form. But Jesus is saying, just come with me and let's go back to the hatred behind the specific grievances and start to see that this is the ego. The ego is like self-hatred. It's devastating. But we need to look upon the full devastation and realize the falsity of that. Then all the effects, all the people are forgiven along with that. So it's a beautiful section. I need do nothing that fits with that definition of forgiveness that quietly does nothing. But in coming to that, we just need to follow our inspirations, and that's what you do so well. You focus on follow my heart. I need to follow my heart. I need to stay in connection with my heart, and know and trust that will carry me through. It will carry me through everything that I need to pass through and to move through. Mm-hmm. And know that you have the support of Jesus and the support of everyone. Everyone is praying with you and joining you in that deep calling of this perspective. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful Holy Spirit perspective.
Mm. Thank you, Daddy.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both so much.
Yeah.
And now we get to dance.
Everybody dance now.
And yeah, I think I'd like to call up Greg now to share what we can expect from this dance party. This is another deep one that he's put a lot of prayer into. Thank you, Greg.
Oh, thank you, David, Kirsten. That was beautiful. Felt like something really settled in my heart. Hearing all the sharings and this beautiful coming back to purpose, and very practical too. So yeah. Well, I'm very pleased to say that this is a playlist, like Eric was saying, 33 minutes long, and it's a playlist that feels like it's from the heart and it's for the heart, and really bringing together the weekend around letting go and emptying out, and also embracing the I am, embracing our identity. We'll have Jesus come on and sing a little bit for us, and we'll have songs from most of the songs are from this week, and they're all quite fresh, and they really all struck a chord with many of us, and so we put those together. There's songs that are called, I think we already heard it this weekend too, the one Keep My Heart Open, and that's another beautiful one we'll have, and Hold On to Nothing. We've got Remember What You Are, which is where we'll have Jesus come online, come into this. And so there, you don't have to dance, but I want to invite you to just sink in and move what moves, let the Spirit move you. So yeah, thank you guys.
Be still. Be still. Lay it all aside. Lay it all aside. Only love remains. No name to carry, no story to defend, no image in the mirror, no beginning, no end. All the dreams are fading like mist before the dawn. Every thought dissolving into the one. I release everything I thought I knew. I release until only you remain. Hold on to nothing, nothing at all. Empty these hands so love can fall. Nothing to become, nothing to prove. Only this silence, only you. to nothing, nothing at all. Open these hands, answer the call. Nothing is missing, nothing to find. Love has been waiting all of this time. Be still. Lay it all aside. Hold on to nothing. Only love. Only love. Only love. I don't need to know tomorrow. I don't need to understand. Every path I've tried to follow softly disappears again. Every answer I was holding falls away into the sky, leaving only quiet breathing love that never asked me why. If you lead me, I will follow. If you whisper, I will hear. Take the future from my hands now. Meet me only here. Keep my heart open, wider than the sea. No one to possess, nothing owed to me. Only love unfolding, only you to see. Keep my heart open until love is all of me. How willing are you to forgive? How much do you desire peace instead of the dream of conflict? Listen to me now. You are not born to die. You are not made for fear. You are the son of life. Every face becomes a gift. Every Arise, my brother. Let forgiveness transform the world. Let its purpose be changed. And when forgiveness has done its work, you will not need the world anymore. You will not need time. You will remember what you are has never changed. You are life. You are love. You are one. One.
I am love, a loving mind. I am giving, happy, whole and kind. I am peace, serene and free. I am still as God created me. I am the dream of the dream in which I seem to go apart. Through Holy Spirit, the truth I've seen, I live forever in God's heart. Joy, I am real, I am strong and honest, gentle, healed. I am now free of time. I am forever safe within God's child of spirit, child of light. Never have I left my home. Holy, changeless, I am Christ. I claim perfection as my own. Worthy, I am all. Living in the light's my only goal. I am trusting in God's love, resting in the cradle of the Spirit guides my every step. There is nothing else to seek. God has willed my happiness in this sweet reality. I am love, a loving mind. I am giving, happy, whole and kind. I am peace, serene and free. I search in prayer for answers to find. You speak to my heart like a gentle tide, a deep release, a healing begun. I hear your whisper through the dark. I feel the glow of this beautiful light. I trust in you, though my eyes cannot see. Beyond what the five senses hide from me. You are the frequency I need the most. Drifting in grace, your love is my home. I will follow you, Jesus, through shadows and night. I trust in your love, you're my guiding light. I will follow you, Jesus, till the end of time, into everlasting love. I will follow you, Jesus, through the valleys, through the mountains, until up and down, 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 down. Become one.
What is meant to be will be, what is not will fade away. Your worth has never been determined by the things that come your way. You are worthy regardless, you are safe in my embrace.
What is meant to happen will happen. Be still in this space, into everlasting love. I will never leave your side. I am at the door of heaven, and that door is open wide. It will never close until you finally pass through. Just close your eyes and feel me there with you. We are living in the same sound. We are one. I will follow you, Jesus, through shadows and night. I trust in your love, you're my guiding light. I will follow you, Jesus, till the end of time, into everlasting love. I will follow you, Jesus, through the valleys, through the mountains, until up and down, 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 down. Become one. I don't know how, but I trust you're leading me to everlasting love. I trust in you. I will follow you till the end of time. We are merging as one into the same sound. patient. Love is kind. Love is forgiving. This self of mine. Love is gentle.